Hello, my name is Ahmad Azamuddin bin Azman. My metric card number is TA19135. Okay, our topic is we choose first topic, which is total quality management (TQN) in public sector in Malaysia. So I will give the introduction. Okay, the quality is the most important strategic issue facing top management in the 1990s. It is becoming increasingly important in the public service as a result of new approaches that are being adopted in management practice. Many organizations are beginning to recognize total quality management as the new way of managing for the future, especially in a very competitive economy. Originally, quality management approaches such as the quality control circle was designed to serve the industrial sector, which is directly involved in producing manufactured goods where productivity and quality could easily be controlled and measured. In the late 1970s, for instance, many Japanese companies successfully used quality programs to assist them to compete with Western companies. Through raising quality, they were able to penetrate the world market and sell their products. Uh, the impact of quality management techniques in the service sector has also been proved to have a positive effect in terms of increasing the effectiveness of the sector at creating better working conditions. For this reason, TQM was introduced in the Public Service Department and agency throughout the country in 1992 to increase productivity, efficiency, and the effectiveness of the public service. A major concern here is whether this concept will become just another management fad in most government departments. Past experience have demonstrated that many quality improvement efforts, including the QCC, fizzle out almost as quickly as they come in. Therefore, the purpose of this paper is to identify potential obstacles to the effective implementation of TQM in public service organization and propose way to overcome them. The paper begins with a brief overview of the concept of TQM and its importance to the public service in Malaysia. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello and good morning to my lecturer, Mr. Tom. My name is Shahmi Iskandar. My ID number is TA19141. Today, I would like to talk about our topic that is called Literature Review on Total Quality Management in Public Sector. Okay, so first things first, quality improvement is a systematic approach to quality planning and managerial activities. The underlying concepts were first initiated in the United States in the late 1940s by quality practitioners such as Deming and Juran. The Japanese took up the idea after World War I and promoted these principles successfully in their manufacturing industries. In the US, much of the concern for quality began in the 1960s and 1970s, stemming primarily from the demands of the military and related consumers, which then relocated through to consumer products. Secondly, in Malaysia, however, the drive towards quality awareness only became important in the early 1980s. Total quality management can be referred to as an attitude towards motivating and members of an organization to strive continuously to improve the products or services and the processes involved in generating them, which will satisfy both the external and internal customers. Inequality thus embraces how an organization meets all in its customers' requirements, including even how they are greeted over the telephone. The total quality management system defines quality as a total conformance to customer requirements, not only product or service specifications. Total quality management has changed the ways of dealing with quality through primarily a shift from corrective and preventive systems. In the former, poor quality is accepted and corrected, but causes are not eliminated. The latter cause defects in the assembly line are not accepted. Therefore, the quality of the product needed to be assured once the product is off the assembly line. This is related concept of zero defect. Moreover, many organizations face problems in driving total quality management programs in their management systems. They do not succeed in sustaining and maintaining this continuous improvement programs because they fail to create an environment which is conducive to performance improvement and fail in managing change in the organization. According to it, many organizations that have implemented TQM have found that they could not accomplish their stated goals because of three primarily problems, that is, a lack of focus on the most critical business processes, a failure to align the organization and its resources to support long-term improvement efforts, the separation of improvement from the strategic goals of the organization. Due to these problems, they have failed to foster and sustain performance improvements in their organizations, and this in turn led to failure of total quality management. In implementing TQM, regardless of what tools or techniques are used, an organization that seeks to improve quality must first dedicate itself in accomplishing three things: building a shared vision, designing the organization for high performance, and driving continuous improvements in the organization. Quality experts from US and Japan have developed a number of concepts and methodologies which have had significant impact on how quality can be managed. What do these quality experts say about quality? Deming says that who was considered to be father of quality control in Japan developed his approach on his basis of 14 management principles, which he referred as the 14 points. He believed that achieving excellence in quality starts with top management. Deming, cited in Japan, said recommended that a company should have a strategic plan for its goals and find ways and means to achieve them. Management should also incorporate the philosophy that mistakes, defects, and unsuitable materials that are no longer capable and should be eliminated. This can be achieved through developing proper statistical methods to control processes or incoming materials and to help identify the sources of quality problems. Statistical methods can even be used to determine whether more training of workers is needed. Management should be responsible for training or retraining employees in new skills to keep pace with changes in the workplace. Deming believed that statistical methods are the backbone of management's stockpile of tools for managing quality. He also pointed out that the management should also create an recommendation in which employees will not fear reporting problems or recommending improvements. Duran, along with Deming, pioneered the education of Japanese firms in quality management and have been a major influence on quality improvements by Japanese manufacturers over the past 40 years. Duran defined quality as fitness for use or purpose and distinguished it from the definition of quality which is often used conformance in specification. He pointed out that a product could meet all the specifications but might not be usable effectively. Duran promoted quality trilogy incorporating in total quality improvement, planning, control and improvement. Through managed theoretical framework, he explained how quality should be managed. He believed that the vast majority of quality problems were caused by management, and the only way to improve quality was through the participation of management. Duran's approach had its focus and thought of the middle managers and the use of quality circles to improve communications between management and employees. Although quality control was important, it was still the only part of quality improvement. He also recommended using statistical processes control (SPC), but worried that it could lead to a tool-oriented response. It provided 10 steps for management approach, total quality improvements, and believed that annual improvements and training were fundamental for achieving excellence in quality. That is all for me. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Irfan bin Zaman. My metric number TA19116. I will explain about the implementing total quality management concept in a public sector. The implementation of the total quality management concept in an organization is a long-term process that requires a substantial amount of the various resources. There is no precisely determined methodology of implementing the process. However, some recommendation can be found in the literature that should be followed by the organizations striving to the total quality management. First of all, the implementation total quality management in a company starts with the acceptance of the right attitude, that of the leadership and involvement on the part of the board and the managing staff of particular departments. At this stage, which might be called the initiation stage, it is the duty of the managing staff to coordinate the operations, to define clearly the task, and which is perhaps the most vital element, to convince the employees to this concept of management. The next step is the review of the existing systems. Example, the diagnosis of the system, and then the adjustment of the process, which means planning and adjusting them in a way that the total quality management objective can be achieved. Then a plan of the improvement process appears, and the reorganization of the whole system occurs that aim at meeting the customer requirements. This can be achieved either by radical change or by a continuous improvement of the organizations.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zahid. I am ID TA19114. I will present about discussion. First of all, for the discussion, I will talk about the conclusion and total quality management (TQM) in public sector in Malaysia. First of all, to identify potential obstacles to effective implement of TQM in public service is an attitude toward motivating all members of organization to strive continually to improve the product of service and the process of the involved in to generating them with all the satisfactory both and external and internal customer in quality. Okay. For the next to manage the management to recognize the contribute which every employee can make and harness the skill and autism of everyone in organization. Okay. To achieve this, Monroe suggested that individual must be provided with the skill, tool, and authority to investigate a problem and introduce improvement. Managers must demonstrate that they believe that their employees can make important contribution to managing the organization and must create an open atmosphere to allow this to happen. Monroe also believed that teamwork will help to enhance TQM effectively. To improve quality, must first dedicate itself to accomplishing three things: building a shared innovation, design the organization and high performance, driving continuous improvement in organization. Okay, lastly, the basic silos philosophy. For will I will I will define it. For the basic philosophy, it can be concluded about the total quality management (TQM), with the attitude of accomplish to overall performance of the organization. Okay. For the next discussion we made is discussion implementing TQM concept in public. As for starting, the implement is with the acceptance of the right attitude that of leadership and involvement of the part of the board and managing staff. Okay, at this stage, I may call the initiation stage. Initiation stage is a duty of the managing staff to coordinate and the operation to define clear tasks, and which is perhaps the most vital element to convince the employers to this concept of management. The next step is the review the existing system, the diagnosis of the system, and the adjustment of process, which means planning and adjusting them in a way that the TQM objective can be achieved. Then a plan of improvement of the process in place and reorganize of the whole system occurs at the end meeting in the internal or external customer requirement. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Ismail Reza Hanif bin Saiful Zahar, ID number TA19143. Today I want to talk about conclusion of total quality management. Okay, it can be concluded that total quality management, that known as TQM, is a philosophy with the eager to accomplish the overall performance of organization. This globally recognized the strategy technique has several benefits that make TQM trustworthy and acceptable toward business in public sector. Benefit may get include improving overall certification, focus in on employers, motivation, and reducing waste. TQM also solving problem technique that particular focus on continuous improvement of quality product, process, and service. TQM is acceptable and practical use in Malaysian public sector organization. It been used where it involve administration and organization setup. TQM can be sustained long-term production income. However, to make sure that management can adapt for a long-term use, the environment must be conducive and this situation effectively. Management in public sector should know their responsibility to make sure they can adapt to QM in their own sector of work in public in Malaysia.